Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. And we're going to talk about the greatest asset the Persecutor banner has, right? That could be a real threat to Dungeons and Dragons and is a distinct possibility that Dungeons and Dragons could be defeated in the race for #1 tabletop role-playing game of the world. Okay, so right now, you don't know it, all right, but I'm going to explain to you right now, right? It'll be a little later in the... Appreciate your patience. I try not to bury the leads on this stuff, but you're going to have to wait for this one a little bit. The Persecutor banner, which I will define, has a secret weapon. They don't know it. They don't know it. And the question is if they're going to be smart enough to even figure it out. And why am I saying it here? Like, you know, well, one, I'm rooting for Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm witnessing this just like you. I don't have control of all of this, right? But let's define the Persecutor banner, right? So, some OGL 1.0 creator champions are going under the Persecutor banner. Some OSR champions are going under the Persecutor banner. Some Orc champions are going under the Persecutor banner. What is the Persecutor banner? It is D&D Be Gone. It is people who took their masks off during the revolution when the flames were looking high and said D&D be gone, and said flat out, and I will not let it be forgotten, because it was said, and I'm not exaggerating this, and I'm not making something up. D&D Be Gone was a hashtag in the flames of the revolution, right? At the beginning of the Manic Panic, thousands yelled D&D Be Gone, saying the truth of what they believed. They don't want to preserve Dungeons and Dragons. They don't want to change Dungeons and Dragons. They want to burn it to ash. They do not want Dungeon Masters anymore. They want them all to be replaced by Game Masters. They want Gary Gygax's legacy to be destroyed, right? They want Dungeons and Dragons gone, right? And I don't want to see the gaslighting, right? It's already starting. People said, oh, that's marketing language. No, communities don't have marketing language. Corporations have an excuse for it, right? But the OGL and the OSR and the Orc community had no right. They had no excuse. They have no way to take away the fact that they called for our existence to be gone, for Dungeon Masters to be utterly replaced by Game Masters, for our books to be gone, right? For everything. They want the movie destroyed, they want the books destroyed, they want the legacy destroyed, they want the history destroyed, because they know they cannot beat it. And unless they turn it to dust, they will never, ever win. So D&D Be Gone was real. It was said. I'm not imagining things. I'm not exaggerating this. It is a real problem, right? And it is the banner of the Persecutor, right? But guess what? Now I'll tell you, the thing that lets me sleep at night is that all of this is being led by Jason Bullman, right? The genius behind air quotes. Jason Bullman. Here's the problem: already loser. That's what he is. Already done. Brought up Pathfinder, had an opportunity to beat Dungeons and Dragons, failed. Beat him for 1 month, right? During 4th edition, right? But failed to hold on to it. Right? Had an opportunity to do something special with Pathfinder 2. Boy, is that thing a shiny turd, right? Like, I bought it, right? I have a 500-page... Pathfinder 1, right? Everything you needed was in a 480-page book. Now you buy a almost 600-page book for Pathfinder 2, and you don't even remotely have what you need, right? Like, you still need a monster manual. You still need a bunch of other stuff, right? Whereas Pathfinder 1, it was all in one book. Here, they couldn't even do it in 600 pages. The complexity is higher. Oh my gosh, Pathfinder 2 is a dumpster fire, okay? I can't believe anybody is looking at that thing to save anyone, okay? So Jason Bullman is, in my opinion, the perfect person to have leading, in my humble opinion, this collection of champions from the OGL and the OSR and Orc, right? And the reality, and I'm not even sure he's signed on to D&D Be Gone, right? He just has a bunch of people who were shouting it in the fires of the revolution, right? I'm not sure he even understands it, right? I'm not sure. I don't think Bowman understands much at all, right? And I like the idea that he's the leader because he's going to produce nothing, right? The revolution is over. The shouting's done. It's time for the OGL, the OSR, and the orc to shut up and work. Right? Are they going to do it? We'll see. We'll see, right? The problem is they do have a secret weapon. I'm going to tell it to you right now. Okay? All right. What's happening is there's a race. There's a race happening for #1 tabletop role-playing game in the world. I want you to imagine that you just set up a go-kart league, right? And you want to win, right? Well, guess what? On the Persecutor banner side, Mario Andretti just showed up to your go-kart league. Who is he? He's a man with 3 names. So I'm going to give them all to you right now. He is Henkrin Farinale. He is Brandish Gilhelm. He is Ingrid Bernal. Okay? He is the founder of Runehammer Games. And he don't make OGL junk. He makes the best tabletop role-playing game in the world next to Dungeons & Dragons. And the only reason his game isn't better than Dungeons & Dragons is it lacks the seed. That, the seed of growth, the seed of power, the seed of wisdom, the seed of awesome, right? That Gary Gygax planted in Dungeons & Dragons in 1974, right? And it lacks 50 years of history. But flat out, if you look at the rules, if you look at the style, if you look at the genius, the Index Card RPG is the best tabletop role-playing game that has ever been created next to D&D. It actually delivers many promises D&D tried to bring forward that never accomplished. Now here's the problem, okay? There's a race to be the #1 tabletop role-playing game in the world, right? Right now, D&D's already there. It's uncontested, okay? Pathfinder wants to build something under Orc that will defeat it, right? Well, guess what? In their little go-kart club, Mario Andretti just walked in the door, okay? Ingrid Bernal, okay, Henkard Falinale, Brandish Gilhelm, he has 3 names. I don't know why. That's weird. I don't get it, right? But that's the way it is. He literally goes by 3 different names. But the founder of Runehammer Games just walked in the door, and he don't even make OGL. He just said, hey, I want to help, right? Now, here's my only hope. I want D&D to win in all this. If they were smart enough to put Ingrid Bernal in charge of Orc would crush D&D in a year. But they're not that smart. They're not that smart, right? Jason Bullman is not going to realize that he's going to try to teach people how to drive the go-kart while Mario Andretti's standing next to him, right? Ingrid Bernal has forgotten more about tabletop role-playing game design than Jason Bullman ever knew, right? This is Michael Jordan showing up at a pickup game, right? But the problem is Orc isn't smart enough to use him. They're not going to make him the lead, right? So the reality is, if the Persecutor banner were smart enough to know who just walked in the door and had the humility to actually let him lead and use him, then he would be a real threat. They don't. They don't. Index Card RPG's been sitting as a sleeper for years, right? The reality is, in my humble opinion, I wish Dungeons & Dragons had bought Index Card RPG and literally just made it D&D 6e, right? But the reality is this world does not recognize genius, right? Van Gogh wasn't famous until he died, right? That's who you're looking at with Ingrid Bernal, with Henkrin Farinale, with Brandish Gilhelm. He is the Michael Jordan. He is the Mario Andretti. The only thing that's going to save D&D is the Persecutor banner is not smart enough to realize who walked in the door, and they don't have enough humility to let him lead. There's no way. But if there was anything that was going to topple D&D, that would be it. But it's not, because I can tell you right now, they're all a bunch of copiers. They're like, got a whole bunch of copy energy. They're not independent. There's no talent there. There's no leadership. And frankly, there's very little intelligence, right? So they're never going to have Ingrid Bernal put in as the lead. But if they did, D&D would be defeated in a year. All that's my humble opinion. I'm interested in hearing yours. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.